The Deer Agency specializes in helping you understand your coverage before you need it. We offer all lines of personal and commercial insurance, including auto, home, and life. Contact Don Deere at 210-507-2169 and visit us at 7529 North Loop 1604 in Live Oak, Texas, or farmersagent.com/ddeer.
Are you pregnant and alone? You have options. The Sanctuary of Hope offers expectant mothers ages 12 to 22 a place to live, medical care, counseling, continued education, and options to raise your baby in a loving environment or help you with adoption. We want to help provide you and your baby with a bright future. Call us or email us today and let's walk through this together. 210-499-1554 or sohcares.org. All inquiries are confidential.
I Am Refocused Radio is brought to you by Documation, service that serves. Technology solutions to keep you moving forward. Visit nation.com today. You are listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shemaya Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shemaya Reed.
Hey, welcome to I Am Refocused Radio. We are here once again, and today we are going to be talking to a great guest today. His name is Roger Auger, and he has a new book, No Excuses, How Anyone Can Overcome a Rough Start. And we're going to learn all about him today. So without further ado, I want to welcome Roger to the show and say, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm great. Thank you very much for having me on the show.
So before we get started talking about your book, tell the audience a little bit about Roger.
I'm just an average Joe that believes in myself, and I believe you can accomplish anything you want if you put your mind to it. And I'm an entrepreneur. I own real estate. I'm also an investor in the stock and options and trading. And I'm self-motivated. And I'm also a father and a husband, of course.
When you were growing up, how was life growing up for you?
When I was growing up, I thought life was normal to me. But when I look back at it at a later date, I think it was insane. My father was an alcoholic and drug addict. My mother was bipolar. We were encouraged to have any education. I was a very bad child. Until one day I saw a light, a change, and that's when I started to work hard and become who I am today. It was a rough start because once you read my book, you can find out what happened to me as a child that was very discouraging for anybody that would not want to be in that situation.
So I read in your bio that at age of 12, you were actually paying your parents' mortgage. How did that happen to you?
So I've been an entrepreneur all my life, and I always found a way to make money. And when I was about 10 or 11 years old, I opened up my own flea market stand on Sundays because our stores were closed here on Sundays back then. And I would sell used video games and tools. So I would make money doing that. I would also make money doing some illegal things as well. I was always trying to find ways to make money. I would also sell tickets at sporting events to make money, and that's how we paid my parents' mortgage or groceries and stuff. And I was doing that from probably 11 years old to 16, 17 years old.
When you were growing up, you mentioned about you had some situations with your parents. What were some of the things that you had to personally go through, and how did you manage to keep focus on your personal goals?
When I was growing up, my dad was a very abuser, so he used to drink a lot, and then he would turn on us and hurt us, beat us kids or my mom, just because he was angry. He was an angry individual. I guess he really liked his life he was in, so he would take it all on us. How I stayed focused was when I was about 13, 14 years old, I saw people that were driving fancy cars, and I always used to think that they were just pricks and stuff. And then when the light turned on me when I saw that life is not supposed to be where a kid is taking beatings from parents or encouraged to sell drugs or encouraged to not to go to school. When I saw that there's another way of living, I kind of I stayed focused because I wanted out of the situation I wanted, and if I ever had kids in the future myself, or I wanted a decent life for myself. So I saw what I wanted, and I set goals for me to do it. So I used it like a vision board, where I wanted a Rolex watch, I wanted a boat, I wanted a satellite dish for my house, and I would set goals to me to get those points. And then when I left my house, I was like 18 years old when I moved out of my parents' house into a rental unit, and then that's when I started working harder to save money to buy real estate and invest options and stocks.
And when it came to real estate, who helped you along the way? Like, did you have a mentor? Did you have someone that kind of showed you how to get started? Who influenced you to help you build your portfolio?
So in real estate, when I first started, I had nobody that, personally had nobody. I just was watching the news. I was actually reading about Donald Trump and how he did certain things. This is back in the 80s and 90s, right? When he was great. I was just self-learning myself. And then after buying 3 or 4 properties, then I started to be involved into real estate networks where we're teaching each other and helping each other that way. I do have a gentleman now named Aaron Suto, who has actually helped me a lot after I got to my 10th property to get more properties as well. But I always wanted to be a landlord when I was a kid because one of my friends was renting, and I thought to myself, that'd be the coolest thing ever if I'm paying you money to rent, to live in your house. So that's one of the reasons why I set that as a goal for myself to become a real estate investor.
Once again, you listen to I Am Refocused Radio, talking to Roger Auger, and you basically took a situation and you flipped it and you said, I'm going for my own life, passion, goals, whatever your dream was, you went for it. And a lot of people right now, they may be stuck or they may be frustrated, right? Because all that's happening. What words of wisdom will you give to someone listening to this interview? I
would say to them, every day is a new start. So I would say to them, believe in yourself and set goals and set things set up for yourself. So if you set a goal for, say, you want to save $1,000 in your bank account, I'm just using that for number-wise, every day you have to put away $3 or $5. You break it down by per day. And every day is a new beginning for you to believe in yourself, to encourage yourself, to push yourself to do it. Nobody's responsible or no one's going to help you to do anything unless you do it for yourself. And I'm a strong believer of my kids and my family. One of our main things is believe in yourself. And I know it's a slogan for other things, but I say to all my friends and all my people I talk to is that you believe in yourself, you can do it. And when you look in the mirror and you say, I can do this, you can do it. You convince yourself to do it. Nobody's holding you back from doing what you want to do except for yourself. And if you want to become a millionaire, or you want to become a real estate investor, or you want to become an athlete or a talk show host, or whatever you want to become, you can. You just have to work hard and believe you can do it, and you can do it. You're the only one who can do it for yourself. No one's being handed to you.
There's a saying to trust the process, and I believe in so many words that's in part of what you're saying as well, for people who are listening, to always just trust the process. You may not be where you want to be today, but as long as you keep pushing yourself, you will get to where you're supposed to be tomorrow. So you mentioned you have kids. What are some of the things that you have been teaching them as far as setting their own personal goals for their life passion?
So one of the things I showed my kids was this book, No Excuses, from Roger Auger, is that my kids and myself and my friends and my family all know I cannot spell worth damn. I have a hard time reading. I am terrible in grammar. And one of the things that I would never thought I would do was is write a book. And so I always told my kids to believe in yourself and accomplish anything you wanted to do. And well, I wrote this book because the fact that I show my kids that you can do what you put your mind to. And for someone that has a grade, like I have a grade, probably grade 3, grade 4 writing skills. And I wrote this book because of the fact that I believe I could do it, and I did it. It took me almost 2 years to do it, but it was accomplished because I believed in myself. So I tell my kids, if you believe in yourself, you can finish anything you want. And my kids are they play in competitive sports before COVID, and they work their butts off because they believe they can do it, and they're top of their games. So I always tell my kids, push yourself to the level you want to push it and keep doing it.
You also have a message behind your whole movement, not just your book, not just real estate, not just also you're involved with your own very own nonprofit that we'll get into in a little bit. But yes, you have a message, and that's what sets the difference of people knowing their why is you know your why. So with that, this nonprofit that you have been able to create, tell the audience how it helps kids and families.
So my non-profit is called Hamilton Basketball Today. It's a charity that a friend of mine, Erwin, and myself created. And what it does is when I was growing up as a kid, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Easter dinners, the big turkey dinners, were very expensive. So we would spend about $100 for a big meal, and the whole family gets together and we talk and have a good time. We always struggled to get those meals done. So the basket gate was that we would buy a big turkey and all the fixings for it. And then we found families that were struggling through our local school districts. And then we would deliver those meals to non-cooked to the families that need it. And we had a saying play it forward and believe in yourself as well, cards in there. And then they would spend time with their family and have this big meal during Thanksgiving and Easter and Christmas. And then we did that, and we're doing up to about 1,000 families. And then we changed it recently to wish list. So now we do it 3 times a year, where we get about 100 families, and then we pick every person in that family has a wish list, and then we have shoppers go out and buy the stuff they need. And the majority of the stuff they need is winter clothing or summer clothing or and books and stuff. And so we buy that stuff for them and then deliver it to their house. And then we always say, play it forward. And then we also, if some of the families actually start volunteering to help us because they want to help the community as well. I do this because I think that if we can reach out to one individual person of all the families we help, and they realize that life is not about struggling, life is about finding your niche, finding the thing that you're good at, and keep working on it and pushing yourself forward to believe that you can accomplish what you want to do. I believe that people should not just give up on what the situation is. They're in a situation because whatever happened to them, but they can get out of that situation if they encourage it. So that's what we try to do with the Hamilton Basketball Day, is to encourage people to get out of the situation they're in by working hard or finding the niche that they're in. And then we also help them if they need to find somebody, because not everybody's good at sports. Some people might be good at plumbing or wiring, electrician or carpentry, but they don't know that yet. And I think that our school system or anybody should show, okay, you're good at this, why don't you do that? And help that way.
And that's the key, because as you are talking about, is part of it is action. You had to make your mind up that you were going to do something about the situation. And looking at your life, you went from making choices to living in those choices. In other words, You started your business. You started your nonprofit. You gave sound wisdom to your own kids based on your own life, personal experience. What would you want the reader, when they read your book, what do you want them to get from No Excuses by Roger Auger?
I want them to find, say, for example, if someone, an average Joe, reads the book and their life is set, and they're doing well, I want them to look over their shoulder and find that person, that individual person that just needs a little help in finding their leash or finding what they need to do to see what they're good at. Giving the book to them and say, listen, Roger can do it. He came from an abusive family, a drug addict father, and a life that wasn't suited for any human being. And he made himself a good life for his family and his kids. So I want my book to show that doesn't matter the situation you're in, you can get out of it if you want to. And I want people to find what they're good at, because we, as society, we all are at school, we're all taught the same way, same math, same education system. There's nobody that really teaches people what they can find what their leash is. And I really want people to start to realizing they can get out of the situation they're in if they really want to, and they really try to. This is speaking from my personal experience, and people will help. But
we all know now that you had a rough start in the beginning, but you made up your mind that you weren't going to stay there. You basically kept pushing yourself until you saw results. And you found your passion, you found your purpose, you found your why. And now you are doing great things, not just in real estate, not just in nonprofit, not just in your new book, not just in radio interviews, but now people will start hearing your story and they too will make a connection, that they too can come from a rough start and build a life that they dream. Because there's a difference between talking and doing.
Yes.
What advice from your personal perspective for people who are skeptical of opportunities and they're on the fence of, should I go after my dream or should I just play it safe? You know, people are always down on themselves. What would you say to that individual who's listening right now to shake that off, those lies that they have to stay where they are?
What do they have to lose? Like, if you are sitting there thinking that, okay, I'm going to stay, I don't want to take the chance of becoming who I want to become, and just going to stay comfortable where I am, what do you have to lose? You can always go back to the routine you're always used to. So push yourself to try to better yourself. Like, it's just, if you want to have something, work for it. Like, do it. Just do it, because there's nothing holding you back. And you have absolutely nothing to lose but to go after your dream. And if you are working and you get your dream, your goals, then you're going to be a much happier person. And if you're happier, you're going to make people around you happier, and then you're going to help other people. And then it just goes on like a ripple effect. And I believe you can do it. And I strongly believe they can do it. If I can write a book, trust me, you can do anything you put your mind to, because I am a terrible reader and speller and writer. And that was a huge accomplishment for me, because the fact that I thought I can do it, and I was like, I'm going to do it. And I did it. I could not do it and just stay where I was doing and being successful, but I wanted to prove to myself that I could. So I believe that anybody can prove to themselves that they can. And don't hold yourself back because you think that you want to stay comfortable. No, live your life. Live the life you want to live by doing what you want to do, and I don't hurt anybody, but just do what you want to do.
Sometimes we can look at someone's accomplishments and think that they didn't have to go through anything, when in actuality, it's actually the opposite. You never know the troubles people are going through when they are achieving their goals. And like your book is all about specific targets You have to have a target when you have a goal, because it's like throwing darts in a dark room. If you don't set a goal, you're just going everywhere, but nowhere. And that's the thing. You can be working real hard, but not going anywhere in life because you're not taking a specific goal and taking a specific action after that thought in your head. So how can people get your book, No Excuses, How Anyone Can Overcome a Rough Start? How can they get that, Roger?
They can get it from Amazon or Kindle, and some chapter stores. You can order from chapters as well. Amazon is the fastest way to get it. And of course, if you enjoy my book, please write a good review for it, because I want other people to reach for it and get the opportunity to knowing that I want to encourage others to succeed.
And if you want to find out more about Roger and what he's doing, how can people stay connected to you on social media, Roger?
Right now, I just have a Twitter account, No Excuses. I don't have any other social media just yet because I'm still working on that. But if anybody wants to get a hold of me, in touch with me, they can always, I have no problem with them emailing me. I know some people don't say that, but if they really need some advice or help, they can email me at roger@rocketrentals.ca. That's one of my side businesses I do right now. But I would definitely have no problem helping or encouraging.
Well, there you have it. That is our interview on I Am Refocused Radio, talking to Roger Auger and his powerful, powerful book that I think you should definitely get. And that is No Excuses, How Anyone Can Overcome a Rough Start. Thank you, Roger, for being on the show today. Before we let you leave, if you want to say anything to anyone listening right now, what would you like to tell?
I would like to say, take a deep breath. Sit and think about what you want to do. Write it down. Write it down and think about it. And then look at that. Look at what you wrote down, and then write down sections of that saying, how am I going to accomplish that? Am I going to accomplish it by A, B, and C? And break down that massive goal you just set yourself into small little goals, because you have to reward yourself every little often, otherwise you can give up. And believe you can do it, because you want to do it, and I believe you can do it.
Well, that's our interview for today. I want to thank everyone who's listening to this show. Make sure you go get that book by Roger Auger, No Excuses. You can find it on Amazon. You can find it anywhere, everywhere. Just make sure you get it. So once again, like we say on every single show, keep God first, stay focused, and peace.
Thanks for listening to I Am Refocused Radio, brought to you by Documation. Documation is a full-service technology solutions company that provides IT, print, and software managed services. Headquartered in San Antonio, Documation has been serving customers across Texas for nearly 30 years. Visit Mation.com today. Hi, San Antonio. Need a barber? Visit our good friend Rico Rodriguez, the owner of Rockefeller's Barbershop in San Antonio, Texas, 1733 Babcock Road, and book your appointment today by calling 210-782-5188.